Shravan, I will say that we have shown our determination to defend our perception of the LAC even with the blood of our soldiers. And remember something, the Chinese have not lost their troops to any adversary like they did in Galwan for decades. I mean, most of the time they believe they can just ride roughshod over weaker countries like, Malaysia or Philippines, Vietnam, they've been, even Japan, which is militarily inferior to China right now. All these countries, they believe that they can simply, impose their will. And they have not lost troops to any of these. They keep having skirmishes and clashes, especially in the maritime domain. But so far, China has not lost a single PLA soldier, Navy, Air Force or Army to an adversary in decades. This has happened for the first time. And they are acknowledging that they have had casualty. They are not revealing it because it's so embarrassing for them. So the point is they got the message on the day, Shravan. So nonetheless, we know the communist mentality. What they will do is they will try to double down on this now because it's a matter of prestige and saving face for them. Because they want to prove the world that they are the boss and that everybody else, they order them around and everyone else has to adjust to the Chinese demands. But what we are doing, India, as opposed to all other countries with whom they have disputes, India is standing its ground. And India, the surface-to-air missiles, even the procurement of weapons, high-tech weapons that is now going to be fast-forwarded, all these are being made public as a signaling to them that, look, you already got a bloody nose in Galwan, and it can be much worse. So I think we are doing the right thing. It's a calibrated, counter-offensive of the Modi government. At every stage, we still have Chinese presence, yes, in Pangong and other parts. But what we are aiming at is, in the medium term, we will restore the lines before their incursions happen. In the meanwhile, they are getting the message. So, yes, it will always be uncertain. The Chinese don't want to settle the boundary dispute with us. The Chinese have a strategy. They want us to kowtow. They want us to stop being a counterbalancing force to China in the world. That cannot happen. 1.3 billion people. They keep saying 1.4 billion people. We are, this much of humanity. This is also 1.3 billion people on this side. And they better realize that we are not willing to play second fiddle to them. That is the main point, Shravan. If we are willing to play second fiddle, then they will say, okay, we will deal with you softly. But when we say, we are your equal, we want a multipolar world, we want a multipolar Asia, you are not going to be the only the game in town. You're not going to be the boss of the entire Indo-Pacific. That is when it rankles, and that's when they think we should apply pressure on these guys. But now we are ready for this. So for every pressure, and remember, the Chinese have a big problem with the Americans. They are riling all their neighbors. They could face a multiple front war. If they are thinking that they can easily beat us or bring in Pakistan on the other side of LAC and beat us into submission, it's a mistake, Shravan, because they will face multiple fronts. And this is not going to be a situation where we have much better alliance or partnerships today than was the case in 1962. So the world will not stand mutely if they commit aggression against India. Right now we are handling them, we are giving them eye for an eye, but if it comes to a situation where they are planning a full-scale invasion, it's not only going to be our counterforce, but also the rest of the world that's going to come in. And that's where this combined diplomatic and military strategy of Modi government is working, and I think they will back off over time. But to save face for now, they want to show a brave face to the world that, look, nobody can deter China. The point is they have already been rattled and more is going to come for them. So I think psychologically they're trying to put on this bravado, but behind the scenes they will be rethinking at the highest levels of the Communist Party, do we want to take on this formidable neighbor to our south, which is showing high level of political resolve, even willing to sacrifice the blood of its soldiers in order to get back there. They will back off because they don't like a direct fight. And that's, I think, our main card going forward to try and resolve this problem. But it will not end in a settlement. But what we want to do is restore status quo ante and also maintain the strong deterrence posture. And eventually the diplomacy can resume. Eventually we can have confidence building at the highest level and all that. Our leaders can meet when the situation is better. Let them give the territory back. Let them move back from all these places they have incurred. And we are ready for even a high-level summit. I'm sure Prime Minister will be happy for that. So let them show good faith. Right now they have shown their treacherous side, and we have shown that we are valiant. If they are treacherous, we are valiant. But now it's time to move past these binaries. Let us work towards a de-escalation in a way which will eventually pave the way for stability. Forget peace. We just want stability with China, because China will never want peace with a country like India that is its rival, its peer, and potentially could overtake them one day in power.